मुझे मालूम है कुछ जो है वैसा रहेगा नहीं, जो कल जो होगा वैसा रहेगा नहीं, जो परसों है वैसा रहेगा नहीं, हमेशा चेंज होता रहता है ना। आपको मालूम नहीं है कि नेक्स्ट मोमेंट क्या होगा। वो
जिंदगी
कहते
आपके अपने
हैं
हाथ में
कि
नहीं।
आदमी बनाता है और भगवान एक मिनट में उसको बिगाड़ देता है।
हाँ।
The 80s of Bollywood was a very interesting phase where the segregation of parallel and commercial cinema was as distinct as ever, where on one hand inventive projects like Jaani Bhi Do Yaro, Ardh Satya and Parinda existed, the commercial films of Bollywood were ruled by actors like Rishi Kapoor, Mithun, Sunny Deol and especially Jitendra. Many people forget about the fact that the late 80s saw the birth of stars like Amir Khan and Salman Khan, but at the same time, a man with undeniable charm, beautiful dance moves, and a confidence in front of camera like no other was also launched, and his name was Govinda. A big fan of the Mithun film Disco Dancer, Govinda practiced tirelessly recording himself on a VHS tape to be circulated in the form of an audition tape to suitable production houses in order to try his luck in Hindi cinema. Fate had it that this naturally gifted boy was getting launched with movies like Tan Badan, Love 86 and Ilzam, two of which turned out to be box office success stories, and the man paved the way in consistently featuring in commercial projects and becoming a known face on a national scale, sometimes even signing close to 70 films at one point of time. The movies during the late 80s in which Govinda created a name for himself were representative of the era and what was popular then. Comedies, action movies, and family dramas that were really high on emotion and extremely dramatic, but fit the bill of this high-pitched Saas Bahu conspiracy in which mostly Govinda would play the little brother who stands for morality and the honor of those wronged. Not only did Govinda impress with his natural style in front of camera, but he just understood the assignment of what was expected from actors and he flourished and became a bona fide star. Most of the successful ventures of the same intense and dramatic pitch carried on in the early 90s with movies like Hum and Zulm Ki Hukumat. But the man became entrenched in everyone's memory when his collaborations with David Dhawan commenced from Aankhe, movies in which comedy, action and romantic tropes were at its peak, and Govinda became the regular feature for satellite reruns that still run today and for the most part guarantee you a no-nonsense laugh riot. The collaboration between David Dhawan and Govinda was something that people dream of, especially when you take into consideration the consistency with which they delivered financial hits.
17 पिक्चर करने का किसी आर्टिस्ट के साथ क्या मतलब होता है, ये भी हमें नहीं पता था। तो उनके साथ तो जिस तरह से रिश्ता निभाया, तो मैं तो ऐसा किसी के रिश्तेदार के साथ भी नहीं कर पाया मैं।
The social context of these movies is something that I've discussed with all of you in possibly every Matlab Kuch Bhi episode, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it was the rage and the talk of the town when these two creators would collaborate with one another. When on one hand new actors like Shah Rukh Khan, Amir Khan, Ajay Devgan, Salman Khan and Akshay Kumar were trying to create a name for themselves, Govinda had established a niche for himself in the potboiler comedies that had a huge fan base, a man that was revered for his effortless comic timing and not to forget, killer dance moves. But what people fail to realize when it comes to the acting profession and working actively in the Hindi film industry is the need to adapt and understand and pivot depending on how mindful you are of the evolving audience and what they resonate and connect with the most. There was a huge shift that took place in the kind of content that the audience wants to see in films when movies like Lagan and Dil Chahta Hai paved the way on how there can be a marriage of compelling cinema that is backed by commerce and packaged in a way that can be consumed by the masses. Govinda did ride the wave of his comedies doing exceptionally well for close to a decade. But those same comedies essentially became stale and audiences did not want to see more of the same packaged material of the 90s anymore. The same gags that were once funny and generated incessant laughter were met with criticism and disdain and a perception that the content that seemed just dated versus what was being offered by other stars, whether it be a new age hero like Hrithik Roshan, Shah Rukh Khan ruling the romance genre, Amir Khan pushing the envelope constantly with new scripts, or Salman Khan making a mark by bringing Tamil content to the North Indian belt. When you don't think of adapting to the current market because you perceive yourself to be a star and how it will be beneath you to accept anything less than being the center of attention in every frame, it often leads to individuals becoming jaded, losing out on the opportunities that would have otherwise been beneficial for their career in the long run. While actors like Jackie Shroff, Rishi Kapoor, and Amitabh Bachchan had already understood the demands of the market, the relevance and global fandom of the new stars, and honed in on doing character roles, Govinda started rejecting offers that were provided to him on a platter. From Gadar, Tal, and even a delicious character in the form of Chunni Babu in Devdas, Govinda still wanted to be the star, but the industry and trade seemed to have moved on.
तो मैंने कहा भैया मैं टॉप पे हूँ,
मैं क्यों चुनीलाल
मैं ये चुनीलाल का रोल आप मुझे देने लगे हैं, तो ना मुझसे आपका रिश्ता है ना आपका सब्जेक्ट में मुझे रोल अच्छा लगा है. उस तरह की चॉइसेस ऑफर कर रहे थे जो मैं डिजर्व नहीं करता था.
Many people talk about how is it that Akshay Kumar got such consistent work despite having multiple failures during the 90s, and most of it is owed to an individual that is professional with the time and money that is being invested in the project. At least the project would get finished, one exclaimed. Quite on the contrary, many rumors floated around from the 90s around the unprofessionalism that was being exuded on most film sets with Govinda. Anecdotes can be found in several forums, but it had become a common talking topic on how stressful it was becoming to even grab a hold of the actor to give him a narration, dissuading many to even work with him in the future. A hiatus from films to pursue a political career came to a halt extremely fast, and the man returned to films with ventures like Bhagam Bhag and Partner, making people assume that Govinda is here to stay and will guarantee us laughs that he is anyway capable of doing for so many decades. This is when I think the delusion really started kicking in, featuring in one creative dud after the other, with the expectation that the audience would resonate with the same material that was fed to us decades ago. Many producers creatively thought of new launchpad strategies for Govinda. It failed one after the other. From Kill Dil, Hey Bro, Friday, and the worst of the lot Rangila Raja most recently, it actually seemed like Govinda and his sensibilities have not evolved with the audience, and what really sets in with multiple failures is a sense of vitriol you have for the business itself. You start equating most of your feelings not to your take on what kind of content will connect with the audience, but to the system not supporting you. While I don't know about the relationships getting sour and why exactly creators did not want to cast Govinda anymore in movies, but through multiple interviews it had become clear that he still wanted to play the leading hero, and having lost that over the years, I would assume that it really stings him even today as his contemporaries are still bigger than ever as stars. Once a bona fide superstar essentially became a meme, giving interviews crediting himself to give James Cameron the title of Avatar and reprimanding each actor or producer that may have wronged him on his journey. A character arc always tough to see unfold in the public eye, especially when you enjoyed the movies of the man so much when you grew up. Now, if you look at the man and his social media presence, he is featuring in extremely low quality music videos, some sung by Mika and some sung by himself, which has the quality of a hot dumpster fire, and there's no two ways about it. Govinda busts great moves in these music videos, but they present scantily clad, expressionless women right next to him, and a production budget that just seems crass in every way. Why or how one would go from being in films to think that this is the best resort is beyond me, but I genuinely wish and hope that the actor understands that it is not beneath him to feature in character roles in films and even in the current OTT space, as many careers have been revived with the same, and his boundless talent deserves energy and attention in these avenues rather than having to embarrass oneself with such cringe material. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you think has been one of the main reasons for the downfall of a big star like Govinda. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle is right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.